I just got an email 20 minutes ago from NORML, and they say that the House Rules Committee has advanced the Marijuana Opportunity and Reinvestment and Expungement Act, HR 3884, which removes marijuana from the Controlled Substances Act and harmonizes the federal law with the state laws that, like Illinois or like Washington State.
Yeah. But this is just all semantics, right? Because it won't matter until
it's the theater of politics. And so it's a committee. And so it gets out of one committee. Now it's got on another committee. And then there's going to be a full House floor vote up or down. And then if you like that, don't forget to hit the likes and subscribes to Cannabis Legalization News, because we'll go live after the vote or during the vote. And we'll try to see who we can get on, because this is just a link. Like, see, you watching this right now, or listening, our listeners can't participate as easily, but the viewers, then, it's just a link that we send out, and this, provided somebody has the internet, they could come on here and we could ask them stuff. So we're going to try to reach out to our former guests, but man, that's awesome. It could be like today, it could be tomorrow, maybe Friday.
And it sounds great, but I just like to remind people to keep your eye on Georgia, man. Like if you're in Georgia, if you know someone in Georgia, you still have 5 days to register to vote. And if you're 17 by the 5th of January, you can still register to vote now.
Yeah. And then the other thing about Georgia is that there's going to be a lot of mail-in ballots, because it's supposed to be in January. So COVID should still be out there. I hear that's going to be like 20 or 25 million doses of the vaccine in December, and then like another 20 or 25 million in January, but it's January 5th. So if they can vote now, I hope they are. And then what's going to happen in this MORE Act vote, because it's symbolic, because the Senate's not going to vote for it. But what if the Senate was controlled by Democrats?
Oh my God, dude. That would just be a new America. That's what I'm talking about. Just focus on Georgia. There would be so much.
Not gone.
I mean, there'd still be BS, but yeah, it would be less.
He would not be the Senate master anymore, but it would be very interesting to see. That's all pie in the sky BS. Let's talk about something that really happened this week. The UN. Ooh, yes. The UN vote. The UN vote was huge, man.
Yeah, this one's been waiting for a while too.
UN approves WHO recommendation to reschedule cannabis in a historic vote. Now, this has to do with the United Nations Commissions on Narcotic Drugs and a treaty that goes back to 1961, the Single Convention on Narcotic Drugs, and it was in a Schedule 4. And a Schedule 4 is different than how we do it in America with a Schedule 1. Schedule 4 was like the bad one with heroin and whatnot. And so they voted on removing it from that. So that's really awesome.
No, I think this is going to be huge nationally, right? Like, this is the reason why other countries started doing the same thing that we're doing, making cannabis illegal in their country. Now
we exported.
Yeah,
like it was after World War II. The United States was feeling itself, and it's like, I'm going to go ban this marijuana plant everywhere. And
yeah, and if you don't do it, you're not going to get any of our love.
By love, I mean the money.
Yeah, pretty much.
Money.
But on top of that, you know what other country decriminalized it or unscheduled it?
What's that?
Thailand. Oh, that's cool.
Thailand? That's awesome. Yes. Thailand removes cannabis from narcotics list. Well, I remember when we were talking backstage in the green room. I used to live in Korea for a year. You've been to Korea, it sounds like, because of the Navy. And don't you remember hearing those stories that if you really wanted to have some weird, crazy fun, you'd go down to Thailand, because they have way more lax drug laws. And so people would go down to Thailand and lose their shit. They would do drugs. Like, if you wanted to do drugs, like, is there like a quintessential, what'd you do last week? Drugs. That would be your trip to Thailand.
For the most part. But, I've been to Thailand, and at the time I've been to Pattaya. And the other thing Thailand is known for, unfortunately, is their sex tourism, like some fucked up shit. That's
see. What it was. Yeah, it wasn't just the drugs. They were also really lax on that. It was like weird. But they also have beautiful beaches. I hear. I'm not saying anything. If you're into that kind of drugs and weird sex stuff, Thailand's there. But I hear they have great beaches as well.
Oh no, it was gorgeous, dude. I mean, for like $50, we lived like kings. Fucking jet skiing and had a little mound of beer cans around us, like a castle. I mean, we're broke sailors living large. But throw some weed in that bitch. Oh my God, I want to go to tomorrow.
Oh man, Thailand's also where they have that form of kickboxing, which was hilarious because I did that when I was in Korea, and the people that taught it, they would usually go down to Thailand to practice for so many times during the year, and you would see the fights that they would have and the records for the Thai fighters. You could always tell because it'd be like 285 and 64 because they lived at the gym. They were just so poor that's what they did. They got taken in by a kickboxing gym, and then they helped around the house or helped run the family business.
But it's also technique because when we used to pull in Thailand, they'd always warn like, "Don't get drunk and step in the ring," like because the American ego. Oh, I got this 4-foot fucker. No,
oh yeah, I'm going to show this little guy who's boss, and he will kill you. He will kill you.
It's true story.
Yeah, I remember like trying to fight this guy. He was fast as hell. And it's like suddenly his foot would be kicking me. And it was like, how did it get there so quick? Boggled the mind. And then that doesn't have anything to do with cannabis legalization news, except it was an anecdote. And Thailand has legalized cannabis or taken steps there too. What else was going on in the news this week? We talked about the UN. We talked about the MORE Act, Thailand.
Oh, Tyson. Let's forget about
the Tyson.
Sports.
Yeah, speaking of boxing, that Mike Tyson fought over the weekend. And did you see the fight? I didn't pay the $50. I know a lot of people did, and you made a lot of money for charity. But
I was traveling.
Oh, you were traveling? That's right. And I wasn't going to pay $50 to watch boxing. And so I heard that he looked good, and it was a draw.
Oh, I didn't hear the results, but I just saw at the end where he's all like, "Of course I smoke. That's what I do."
Yeah, that's. I'm glad that we actually got Miggy to do the impersonation of Mike Tyson, so that he could explain that he'd smoked weed before, and then, of course, after he boxed. And it appears that it might be a performance-enhancing drug if you're in your 50s and trying to have a boxing match.
But according to the Boston Herald, CBD is not a performance-enhancing drug because they said CBD doesn't matter when it comes to driving. We get that one.
Why wouldn't CBD matter when it came to driving?
I just think if you're more chill, yeah, let's road rage. Let's do this.
Right. Yeah. Actually, I could see an upside to it. You're not going to be freaked out and paranoid. You're going to be like, all right, well, moving on. I mean, you'll be fine.
I like to add in my personal study I did this past week when taking my boy to Minnesota that THC doesn't impair as well either. This is just a personal experience that I'm still studying, and I'll work on a doctorate later for everybody to read and improve.
You have to see if you can confirm your hypothesis that it's okay. And so, so far, how many of these tests have you performed?
Oh, shit. In a 10-year span?
Oh, yeah. What's the sample size? We can get epistemological or something on this, right? Or no, epidemiological. Yeah. Over the 10 years. Would you say that you've done it 100 times?
Oh, more than that, my friend.
Okay. So you're still fine.
Yeah. No one's died on my watch.
A lot of sample sets. Just saying. But these are the fun things that we get to do here on Cannabis Legalization News. Get a little nerdy about it, and then talk about various aspects of the cannabis industry.
Well, speaking about nerdy, I mean, our guest is infusing. That nerd, get about as foodie as it gets.
Nerds are infusion. Yes, I mean the cannabis plant is complex, and the technologies they use to do the extraction, they aren't all. Well, some are quite old, but then what is quite old? Decades?
Right.
Not that old. Yeah. We went over the full MORE Act's passage, and then we discussed how it was 97 or something like that %. If you were a Republican, you voted against it, and then there was just like a handful that didn't. And if you were a Democrat, you voted for it, and there's just a handful that didn't. And give us a like, give us a subscribe, and stick around until the end of the news summary to find out which one of those negative Democrat voters has gotten money from me.
Oh, shit.
Well, hey, I like to donate to politicians.
And I recommend that watch our video because I thought we did some great sexy play-by-play action there with the stuff, the whole house going on there.
Yep. And I mean, it kicked off all sorts of news that's getting in on there. And so it was another thing that happened just this morning. Another bill came through the House, way less fanfare, but still. House approves marijuana research bill days after voting to federally legalize cannabis. So another bill has made it out of the House. I mean, this is like, how many bills have made it out of the House now? 3?
And these are just gestures, though, right? Because, I mean, it still has to go through the Senate. It's still
hell. That's something that came when we've been talking about. This has to go through the Senate, all of that. And what does the Senate have on the line? Early voting starts on December 14th. John,
Georgia.
did you see that in Georgia where he debated a chair, an empty chair? Do you know what the polls are? So I've seen some polls. I sent it over to 538.com, and right now John Ossoff is beating Mr. Perdue 48-6 to 48-2. Just flip a coin. And this Perdue guy is like under investigation, maybe indictment, and he didn't even go to the debate.
Dude, I'm just saying, like, that makes you look bad. But
then it's the other one is Warnock versus Loeffler, and Warnock appears to be up by 2. And so again, early voting starts in Georgia in December 14th. So next week, start voting, and you know, maybe what's going to happen, the same thing happened last time. I mean, I don't know. I'm just glad that I'm not in Georgia to see all those gosh darn political ads.
What do they say? Like over $500 million is being spent on just. You know, if we get this Senate, if the Democrats get this, there's no we. It's just the Democrats. I'm an independent. But anyways, but if we get the Senate, legalization's so close.
Legalization is so close. Thumbs ups and no, well, I was going to say subscribe because that's one of the ways that you get subscribers. You ask for them, but then, you know, share this with somebody who needs to, you know, share this with your elected officials that didn't vote for the gosh darn MORE Act, because that is just frustrating as heck. Hey man, what was one of those stories that you were just telling me about before we came on?
Well, I forgot to tell you, and I forgot to mention it in the green room, is Rich Delesi was released.
Oh my gosh, that's huge news. Rich
after
Delesi.
31 years.
Now, I'm not sure if that guy, if we can get him to come on the show, that would be a fantastic Sunday show. Rich Delesi, the longest serving cannabis prisoner, right?
Well, yeah, at that time. But you know what's funny, as I was thinking about this morning, is COVID has released more prisoners than both Obama and Trump. Like
COVID.
I'm just saying, Antonio Basquera, you know, longest serving prisoner at the time. Then Craig Cecil, the longest serving prisoner at the time. And now Richard Delesi, the longest so, like,
do we get their publicists? Do they have publicists? We should have them on the show. They're like, it's a perfect Sunday show, you know? 3 perfect Sunday shows.
It just kills me that it takes this pandemic to finally release older, sick people behind bars. You know, it just, you know, the prison's atmosphere, the healthcare is not the best. You're almost sentenced to a death sentence if you're older, you know, if you're older.
Well, you know, we had both the D'Angelo brothers on, and you've been an activist since day one, at least according to your lower third that we have on this podcast. And so let's reach out to the D'Angelo brothers, and, you know, it was the Last Prisoner Project helped negotiate and facilitate a lot of these releases, and see if we can get the victims on the show so they can talk about how they need to end marijuana prohibition and they need to let the people out of prison. But man, what was that story you were telling me about the firefighters?
Oh my God! So, what was it in West Virginia? Firefighters knocked out a guy after seeing plants in his backyard. I mean, if the MORE Act passes, this will not be an issue. He will not be a criminal.
Yeah, but they said it's Fairmont, West Virginia. Fairmont, West Virginia man been charged after deputies found nearly 700 marijuana plants and 300 grams of packed marijuana when they were called to the scene of a brush fire where wildfires identified the growing site. 700 plants outdoor, though. Wait, that can't be 700 plants outdoor. It's December 8th. I don't care if it is West Virginia.
Shit. Well, I mean, it could have been 700 clones for all we know. You know?
Well, it still was probably like maybe a light-up greenhouse, maybe some type of indoor operation. But how did they get aware of it? I mean, like there's a brush fire. So when I hear brush fire, I think outdoor grow, but it's December 8th, so no way.
Well, you know, what did the firefighter be like? I think I smell weed.
Yeah, but we still, I mean, like that's one of those things they aren't supposed to be narking on that. And then they're doing it because it's illegal. Of course, then if it was legal, they would have been like, hey, yeah, here's my license. I pay taxes. You're supposed to just put out fires, not get me arrested.
Well, and I know, like, with the MORE Act going through, it's still going to be a state-by-state basis, but wouldn't he be less of a criminal? Like, if they turn him in, is he still going to go to jail, or is it just a fine at that point?
I don't know, but it's not all that bad. I mean, like right close to West Virginia is a state called Pennsylvania, and Pennsylvania's Lieutenant governor has penned an opinion letter to the Washington Post. Washington Post published it. Get with the program, period. Legalize weed, period. I wonder where he stands on this issue. And so John Fetterman's a Democrat and the lieutenant governor of Pennsylvania, and is just stating, no, full stop, we need to legalize Pennsylvania. I hope that it is the SB 350 on SB 350. You can find a whole bunch of that on our website, cannabisindustrylawyer.com. And if you're looking to get into the industry because of one of these new states that have come online, go to our Get Started page. We just updated our intake procedures. So this will integrate with our CRM. You know what a CRM is, right, Miggy?
Not a clue.
It's a customer relations management software thing.
I'm a techie guy. I'm a hardware guy. Like I fix things. I don't paperwork.
Paperwork, man. Yep. And so that's going, and then it's going to be interesting to see how Pennsylvania is, because now we have to see what the makeup of their legislature is. Remember, we did have the senator who sponsored the bill, who I think didn't win, though. So it's going to be a new bill. It won't be 350. Hopefully, it's substantially like 350. And we have to find and listen to our people in Pennsylvania, and then see what the bill looks like. And another state that the bill is like starting to come a little bit more into focus is New Jersey.
Oh yeah,
yeah. And they're worried that the way that they're setting it up will encourage, and they still do it here, they call it the black market. Cannabis tax will encourage black market, New Jersey retailers say, in their opinion. And so the black market.
Any of this legalization, right? It seems to be there's always this weird pissing contest among people. Like it's us versus them. There always has to be with the MORE Act passing. Like, how are these people mad, activists, and upset? And I understand it's not the most perfect bill, but have you tried passing any legislation? It's fucked up. And I bet you Queen can tell us this.
Oh yeah, we're going to have her on here in a bit, but it's going to be interesting to see how New Jersey's take comes out, and we're watching that more closely, because I think last week they actually filed another bill, and so we're going to have an understanding of what the New Jersey rubric to regulate cannabis in that state is going to look like, and then we're going to create more content over at, of course, Cannabis Industry Lawyer, and so that we can then figure out more stuff that we can help them with. Anyway, have you ever heard of Congresswoman Cheri Bustos?
No.
All right. Well, I've been to her fundraisers, and so she knows our family. We've been longtime Democrats in the Central Illinois area, and so Cheri Bustos has voted against legalizing marijuana, and so she's out of Moline. Now, this might be one of those things, because like Illinois has been shrinking for a while, population wise. So either Cheri Bustos or Darren LaHood, who are the two local representatives, there might only be one, because like Illinois hasn't grown, so they might lose a congressional rep, because it's a proportional thing. And that's something we're going to be talking about, because the House of Representatives, besides Cheri Bustos, voted to pass the MORE Act.
Oh, yeah, and 97% Republicans. And look, before people start like bitching about like trashy Republicans, Democrats are just as shitty here in Washington State. They stopped home grow. Like, let's just call them out where they're at. Right now, it's the Republicans in the national conversation. Period.
Yep. I just don't get it, and I don't see any quote on her on this at all. But I'm not happy about it. She was one of only 6 Democrats who voted against the bill. It's too bad. I'm never going to give to her political campaigns anymore.
Do you think Big Marijuana was paying her not to pay, or was Big Pharma paying her not to vote?
I don't know, but I tell you one thing. Why am I wearing this suit? Because I actually went to Zoom court today. I got out of my last piece of litigation. I no longer have any pending litigation.
Nice.
Before any court that I'm aware of.
Well, until next year, when all the rules start coming out, and then
I don't know. I mean, I might have a litigator on staff, and then I would read their briefs and say, check this. I don't think that's how it is. And then somebody else would have to deal with it, and I would just do deals from a beach.
Virginia's governor's budget funds marijuana expungements in preparation for legalization. So that's good news.
Marijuana expungement funding in Virginia. That is fantastic. Virginia's like made such a kerfluffle about cannabis legalization without having a bill. And so like they're like, we're going to do it. We're going to do it. I'm like, what are you going to do? Show us your bill. And one of the pieces of news that's out of New Jersey, if you're here from New Jersey, thumbs up, subscribes. Congratulations on legalizing it last election season. New Jersey right now has some, and I don't have this set up to share, but I just got copies of the amended it's A21 is the one that I have up. There's also its Senate sister bill. I believe that is S21. It looks like they're adding some social equity language into it regarding like if a municipality has been, unduly harmed by the war on cannabis. So that's kind of cool. Stay tuned for more. And I hear there's going to be a vote in the New Jersey cannabis bills tomorrow. I think that's the 17th. After this, ArcView Group is actually doing a New Jersey webinar that I'm going to hit after this. I'm going to watch the webinar while I practice yoga because that's how you do it when you're a cannabis lawyer.
Well, I mean, you have to for each state because each one has a different animal going on. Did you hear the Fed announced a $350K grant to develop method to distinguish hemp and marijuana?
Why don't you explain that $350,000 grant on that?
Well, again, this is semantics, but it's going through NIST. But same plant issue. I don't know if here I'm gonna share the link into the stream door. But again, right? Everyone wants to argue. And we'll talk with our guests about this. But some want to say it's the same plant, hemp and marijuana. Some want to say the cousins. Like it's two different.
Yeah, but I was going to say stick around until the end of this show because we are going to get to the very bottom of the etymology of the word hemp and cannabis, and if there is a distinction between them, and if so, what?
Hey, you know what hemp can be used for?
Hemp can be used for literally anything.
Damn it, to make cars, but yeah.
Literally anything. Oh, there was more news out of the Mexico telenovela of cannabis legalization news. And I say it's a telenovela because it's like, will they, won't they? Will they, won't they? And now again, it's delayed. So like, as long as we've been doing this podcast, marijuana has been like almost legalized in Mexico and it just continues to get delayed.
Yeah, it'll probably be a while, dude. I mean, the cartels are pretty powerful there, just like the lobbyists are here.
Yeah. Yeah, lobbyists are pretty powerful here because they like money. Lobbyists like money.
Well, the politicians like money.
Lobbyists like money.
Well, like Rand Paul, he just announced his files a bill to help the hemp industry, change the THC limits and address other concerns.
Yeah.
Again, Kentucky. But is Kentucky just the cheapest politician you can buy? Is this why they've been making all the ahead motions?
I don't know. Did you hear about Verano going public in Canada with a $3 billion valuation?
Wow. No, but not surprised.
Yeah. Verano, maker of some decent flower in the state of Illinois, including a mag landrace, which is an Iranian, I believe, landrace. It's quite nice. And so they are filing to go public through like some type of reverse merger where there's a shell corp in Canada and they'll buy that. Now everybody's talking about how Chicago pot is its hottest new sector, which is really a letdown considering like Chicago has not seen any new licenses in cannabis awarded by the state in 5 years, 6 years. I mean, so hopefully in 2021, we get some winners and losers and we can get into the second round of applications.
So is it American-based companies going into on a market in Canada? Is that what it is?
Yeah. They use Canada to get listed on their stock exchange, and then they wait until they get listed on the American stock exchange down the road.
So can I invest in that stock exchange? I know like there's some stocks that, you need to be a licensed trader, whatever, but then there's
accredited
also
investor. A lot of the investment in cannabis, especially on the smaller end, for those types of equities, like if you're going to try to own your own shop, then it's usually going to be accredited investors and exempt securities offerings and stuff. But if you're going to try to like buy stocks, you can go buy Cresco. I think you can buy Trulieve. I think you can buy Harvest. I think you can buy GTI. And those stocks are traded over the counter, but then I think they're also traded on the Toronto Stock Exchange, the TSE.
But as an American, how are my stocks not part of smuggling, of the trade, of RICO charges? Like, how is that I mean, essentially owning a stock is owning a piece of that.
Well, it's legal in Canada, so you own a Canadian stock.
Canadian stock for an American company. But
Well, there's American holdings, but like if you buy like a French stock and it has a factory in America, I mean, like the international ownership of equities and corporations are really, really complex, and so that's one of the reasons why the cannabis companies go up into Canada to get listed.
But couldn't some asshole prosecutor come after somebody though if they were receiving financial rewards?
Not necessarily, because the prosecutor has discretion, and then they also have to have a case that they believe they can bring and win. And so and then also they need to have the funding. And so if you're DOJ and then the DEA wants you to go after these people that are following state laws like Cresco or Verano that's going to get listed on one of these exchanges, they're following the state laws. There's no money in the budget to actually go after there and police those crimes. So what are you going to do? But hopefully this anti-cannabis activist wants Biden's nomination. That hopefully will not become a thing. So this is from the Marijuana Moment reporting, Tom Angel. Let's see. Today, December the 16th, an anti-cannabis activist wants to become somebody. It's former Representative Patrick Kennedy wants to become the White House drug czar. So please do not let Biden appoint former Representative Patrick Kennedy to become the White House drug czar.
But wasn't Sabat served under Obama, right?
Well, yeah, but that was he's Patrick Kennedy's one of Sabat's buddies or something,
right.
Sam. So these guys are kind of, and SAM stands for Smart Approaches to Marijuana. It's one of the most ironically named organizations out there because it just essentially perpetuates the criminalization of the plant. But yeah, I really hope that Joe Biden's drug czar is Bernie Sanders. That'd be great. Of course, Bernie Sanders.
Oh my
God, he's in the Senate. He's not leaving. But Tommy Chong. Tommy Chong as the Department of the DEA chief. Oh my God, Chong for the DEA chief. That'd be the shit.
I mean, after 4 years of the bullshit we've just seen, we've seen you can appoint anybody to anything that you want, right? Like the guy who was in Europe, he was just a big investor, the European ambassador. So why not Tommy Chong? Why not somebody who has experience with drugs and knows
I want somebody with personal knowledge of these drugs that they're going to be regulating.
I mean, because there's more legal shit dangerous to us than there is illegal, and it just ruins our American perception of right, wrong, health, well-being.
Right. Yeah, it's all bull. It's all just bull. But you know what? What's one of those things where Biden's appointing former Department of Agriculture head back to his job, Tom Vilsack. So hopefully the 2014 version of the hemp bill and then the laws regarding the Delta 9 as opposed to the total THC will take better shape. Oregon actually pulled their hemp farm or their hemp licenses back so that they don't have to comply with the 2018 more onerous total THC standards to try to go back to the 2014 Delta 9 standards, because those are just so much easier to hit,
If, say, ideal world, more act passes, how will this affect the hemp legalization?
Well, that's an interesting one, simply because you'd have two federal laws. And so if they're both descheduled, and so if all of cannabis is no longer a controlled substance, I don't think the DEA's purview is in regulation of it. And so then that's one of the reasons why I think the MORE Act puts it over to ATF for everything that's over the 0.3. That would go over to ATF. But of course, what should actually happen is a genetic definition or something like that, where it's, if the CBD to THC ratio is 20-to-1 or more, it shall be hemp.
Yeah, a ratio thing I can see more.
The ratio of cannabinoids or the THC cannabinoid, then they can go after total. Of course, that'll kill the D8 industry, but I'm
just saying percentage should not matter when it comes to whether this plant defines me having a good time or becoming paper.
But let's do the news summary, man.
Yeah, dude. So I wanted to share, Georgia is always on my mind.
Georgia's on your mind until we have that election.
And John Ossoff, he made this little commercial right here, and I gotta play it for you. This is grand, dude. Just listen. Let's see if I can play it. I'm trying to do the share.
Yeah, that audio.
It's not happening. Well, it's not even push and play. Like, it's not even like moving.
Well, then just recall the audio and tell it to us.
Oh, there we go.
Place an order for pickup, please. It's John. Yeah, J as in jobs. O as in over 1.5 million Georgians have voted early in the runoff for U.S. Senate. And if you want to relieve student loan debt, save the environment, legalize marijuana, and increase the minimum wage to $15, you better vote now.
There we go.
So, on the platform.
On the platform. You know what I saw in news over the week that I thought was great? Besides Georgia, don't forget to vote early. You can vote right now. Vote for the holidays. Get yourself legalized. And guest of the show, Weldon Angelos, was pardoned by Donald Trump, among 15 people pardoned by Trump on Tuesday. We had him on the show.
Oh, yeah.
And so he was already out. And so now he was officially pardoned, unlike Lance Glore, who's still in, as far as we know.
Yeah. No, he's still in. And, I was thinking about his situation again because we talked about him yesterday. He hasn't seen his family in 5 years. He's been locked in a cage alone for 5 years. So we can get access to him and get an interview. I think that'd be spectacular. Also today, not today, but yesterday, Michigan released Michael Thompson, long-serving prisoner.
Thumbs up for getting the prisoners out of jail and then also pardoning them. It is not over until we wipe those smirches off their record. I mean, that's just so wrong that we did to these people.
We need that MORE Act, brother. We need expungement. I mean, it's not
good.
Perfect,
and that's one of the things that I wanted to bring up to the guests because he knows a lot of the operators in the Western Seaboard. But trying to have that social equity be funded by all the money that has already been paid by the operators through IRC 280E, that would be awesome because it's billions of dollars. It's billions. Yeah. So you could fund all those regulations and a lot of those programs on the front end, being like, hey, why don't we put that in the MORE Act? So like all that stuff's already funded, and then all the operators get like a dividend or something, a one-time 25 cents on the dollar payout.
But that's not written in now, right?
Oh heck no, that's my idea.
So I mean, I just want to see this thing get through, man. Like we were so close. The last time we were this close was during the Carter administration.
Talking about somebody else who's close. Snoop Dogg, Casa Verde cannabis capital closes on $100 million as the cannabis industry bounces back. So Casa Verde Capital must be affiliated and co-founded by Snoop Dogg, and they have closed on $100 million for its second investment fund and quoted the documents filed with the SEC, probably a PPM or something, a Reg D filing maybe. Reg D filings, those are fun, aren't they, Miggy?
Million, as the cannabis industry come back for what? It never hurt.
There was a lot of M&A that kind of got struck down when COVID kind of came out, but now a lot of that M&A is rolling again. Look at that. It's fueled by cash. Marijuana sales data reveal Americans bought 67% more weed to survive 2020. Leafly is reporting that Americans spent nearly $18 billion on cannabis in 2020. That's 65% more than last year.
I would like to thank marijuana for getting me through 2020.
I would also like to thank marijuana for getting me through 2020. Home grow got me through 2020. Still have quite a bit of it. I might go back to the dispensary just for some variety.
I got a nice little infused hash and bubble hash joint here.
Oh, beautiful. Bubble hash. Now, bubble hash and Bubba hash, two different things. Bubba Kush.
Two different wrappers.
Yeah. But I do enjoy the smell of a good Bubba Kush strain. It is such a light and floral scent, and it is a little bit like bubble gum. I wonder what terpenes are causing that. If you know, drop it in the comments.
So you're going to go forward with the membership drive?
Membership drive? Heck no. I have to review all the did you see that? Miggy and I tried to do a membership site on the channel, and then we were immediately hit by a paywall. We're just like, hey, if you do this, we might delete you. And then the guy from Green Flower is like, oh, we used to have 140,000 before they shut us down. It's like, do you think I'm going to hit go on that? No. No, I am not hitting go on that. I'm not.
Oh, dope as you got deleted for almost 1 million. So
almost 1 million. And now he's back. But like, we're just going to slow walk that one for a bit, go from 10,000 to 100,000. And then from there.
it's such a weird spot, though, man. Why would we have to dance around this policy when we're both perfectly legal in our respective states, perfectly legal in our country?
Because of frickin' Mitch McConnell, who cheers lack of marijuana banking protection in the new COVID bill, by the way. And so the new COVID bill did not include any type of banking reform, aka the Safe Banking Act. Still in Congress, not getting out of it. No go, says Mitch McConnell, according to Marijuana Moment. Reported that on December 23rd.
Yeah, just wait till January 6th and we'll find out what the difference will be.
That's right, because what are you going to be doing on January the 5th?
I'll be watching Georgia.
We're watching the Georgia results, and I want to make sure you already damn voted. So it looks like the Reds are winning again because they're all going to – no, they aren't going to stand in line. I bet everybody's going to vote from home this time. Why would you go outside when it's cold and you can just drop it in the mail? You know the mail's safe. They checked it frickin' 3 times.
There's also a different strain of COVID out there now. I think I'll just stay inside for a while.
Different strand of COVID still responds to the vaccine. Looking forward to that vaccine. 2021 might not be spent indoors. You know, it would be great if everybody stopped doing our show and then they went back to doing normal events and stuff.
So we can be like the other guys doing Zooms.
All the podcast competition is going to just crater. It's just going to go right by the wayside, and they're going to go straight back to going outdoors and having fun.
One day, dude. Yeah.
Well, no, this is fun. This is a podcast, and we get to do a service. For example, did you know what a SPAC is?
What? No.
A SPAC is a special asset, a special purchase asset corporation, I believe, and they pump hundreds of millions of dollars in the U.S. cannabis industry through acquisitions. And so, Silver Spike closed on. Let's see. Some of them used $662 million in cash to close on these.
So are those
just crazy?
Is that an American firm or is that like an international?
Special purpose acquisition companies. One of these SPACs was, of course, Kaliva. Whoops. That was one of the Jay-Z one. And so it wouldn't surprise me if that other one, the Snoop Dogg one that closed on the $100 million, that also might be a SPAC. Special purpose asset companies. And so they just raise all this money to then buy all this other crap.
Is that something where they raise funds together, or they just?
It's a lot of frickin' pieces of paper and contracts and lawyers and stuff, and then money changes hands, but they use it to put money into to then go buy stuff. So somebody has those licenses that Sean Cotter is now going to start doing his strains on. Well, they don't call them strains; they're called like number 88 or something. His brand.
Yeah. Which I think 88 is also like a clan sign, or white power. I think he messed up on that one.
Oh wow! I think Weed Maps also might be a one of the. Yeah, but then that also might be a SPAC, so that they formed some type of corporation or corporate entity to take the assets of that industry or that entity and then raise money for it.
Man, I remember when the internet was young. Do you remember when marijuana.com got bought and sold?
No. I don't remember when marijuana.com got bought and sold.
Yeah, I don't know. The guy bought the URL, sold it for, I think, $500,000 or so. And then I think Weed Maps owns it. Like, Weed Maps at the one time was going through this huge, kind of like High Times was doing, acquisitioning everybody. Mm-hmm. When I was with my friends at the Weed Blog, when we were all together doing a thing, they actually became friends. They gave him a new logo and shit. It looked pretty sharp, but then there was a falling out that I don't know about. I mean, I've always been the guy on the foot, on the ground floor. I don't really like being the office guy. So.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Details.
Sometimes being the office guy is nice. I like being the guy that's like, here, sign here and here and there. Okay, now go over there. Yeah, and then you fulfill the orders. So, like, I might take the cannabis sommelier class, the Gangier, to understand that customer service aspect, so that my clients at the collateral base will have better quality service.
Well, we have here in Seattle. There's the community college offers a cannabis course for medical. So I've been thinking about taking that one myself. Last show of 2020, bitches.
Last show of 2020, and the first show that we have over 10,000 subscribers. Thank you so much for tuning in for the last one of 2020. Yeah. Don't forget to give us those likes and subscribes if you enjoy the news, because Miggy, you shared this one to me. Goa is government considering legalizing, they spell it with an S in a lot of the world, cannabis cultivation, and the opposition sees red. Where's Goa, Miggy?
That's a state of India.
It's a state of India. And I don't understand I don't get why they would say the opposition sees red. Like, clearly, that's not how business works. The opposition should demand red because they want to continue to waste money. Now, that's...
I mean, really, right? I mean, the funding to any prohibition drug war is just a wasted dollars.
A complete waste of money. And so you could have flipped the script entirely. And then, of course, you'd still have law enforcement involved. They just work at the IRS.
And even then, you wouldn't go to prison unless you're really being an awful
You could
human
go
being.
to prison for tax evasion. But then, like, that was the crime. Tax evasion. It wasn't merely having the shit, you know?
But wouldn't they work with you first, though? Like, wouldn't it be like, you're a bad person, go to jail, instead of
yeah, they audit you and they demand you pay and all that other stuff. And yeah, there's that.
But then if you're like a Bernie Madoff and say, okay, I'll go in. Then.
No, that wasn't tax.
Or not
fraud.
taxes. That
was like straight up fraud. That was a Ponzi scheme where it's like, yes, would you like to invest? And then like, so I'm taking your money to pay my earlier investors are like, I got a great return. And then, you know, eventually in a market crash, you find out that those schemes exist.
I like this Puff and Muffin Gromies. I like that.
Gromies.
What's up, Gromies? I like that.
Yeah, Gromies are pretty cool. I tell you, my plants are hurting. But the Missouri Times is reporting a Missouri Republican files legislation to legalize marijuana. So hopefully this is different because, like you see, I thought Missouri was going to try to do the ballot initiative like they did for their medical. Yeah. And so now, but then the problem with the ballot initiative is it doesn't really speak to the legislative framework. Usually ballot initiatives are way small. Like you've seen the ones because we've gone over them the past year. And some are really, really small, like South Dakota's. And then some were larger, like Arizona's. But by and large, they aren't more than 20 pages. And some of them are like 2.
Yeah, but the process overall, though, right? Because even no matter, because you're talking about like, here's the law. We got the law now. We're going to do the regulation. And then some people like, you want to have both the law and the regulation, take it all at once.
Kind of like Jersey. Jersey like, had a very small question, and then here's the bill, and they have to vote on it because the people said you have to do it.
Yeah, and in the end, I think it's just something that we, the people of that state, have to work through no matter what it is.
Yeah, and I hope that the legislation is good. Hopefully the legislation calls for more of an open licensing system because Missouri had problems with their limited market with the license caps that they had, as opposed to like doing more like a, Michigan style where there's regulations and you got to comply with the regulations and it doesn't make it cheap or easy to get into, but at least your community can have a shop. You can go into business provided you play by the rules.
Do you realize how different our world's going to be in a week, bro?
Okay. No, I don't. There's going to be a 1. It's 2021 as opposed to 2020. That's not going to be that different, right? I'm still going to be confined to my house and everything's going to be closed, right?
Well, I'm thinking more of Tuesday is going to be the Georgia finalization.
Georgia.
Yes.
The Georgia, I'll pull up the polls on that.
It's looking good.
They aren't looking good. They're looking real freaking tight. The Georgia polls, the ones that I was looking at yesterday, like the Georgia Senate polls, like within 1% of one another.
Ooh,
and so these are like the last. I mean, we'll have a final poll, I guess, next week when you tune in to the first episode of Cannabis Legalization News in 2021. But the latest polls off the Georgia Senate runoff, Ossoff and Perdue are just neck and neck right there, 48.5, 47.5, 1% difference. The Warnock versus the Loeffler, that's even closer. I mean, that's opened up a little bit. I thought it was closer, and then today it's opened up to almost 2% now. I checked it yesterday when it was at like less than 1%. So, I mean, it looks like they're breaking back toward the Democrats, but that doesn't mean it's going to go that way.
No, I know, and I again, 80 million people. I'm happy it's turning out the way it is, right? Like. Then after Tuesday, it's going to be Wednesday when Biden finally gets confirmed.
Right. And then on the 20th, when he's sworn in and they drag Trump out, I think Trump will leave. I think
he's already in Mar-a-Lago. He just doesn't come back.
What's that?
He's already in Mar-a-Lago. He just won't come back. That's all.
Let's hope so. Let's hope that's what he does. He goes to Mar-a-Lago. He just doesn't come back. And so that's the Senate race. It's quite important. Hopefully, if you're tuning in from Georgia, I have something about what TrueLeaf did to that license round that's going on right now. We did some stuff about that license round. It was kind of a very limited market for Georgia. More on that to come. And then here's this one that was just reported This was a thing from the most recent coronavirus funding bill package. Not only was it the vape ban, also nestled in the federal omnibus spending bill. One of the things we need to check on that is if they had the defunding of the Department of Justice again, so that it's not just medical, it's now all adult use in hemp, but I'm not sure. However, what they did do is extend the 2014 Farm Bill to Jan 1, 2022. So that means that CBD is going to be planted again next year.
Well, and then what was it, the one that I showed you before? Who's enforcing the was it FTC enforcing the how you represent CBD, right? People making allegations about health and wellness and whatnot. And I knew this was going to be 3 years ago. Josh and we did a podcast. He's like, "What's your prediction for CBD after the hemp?" I knew the Farm Bill was going through, and I was like, "You got to be careful how you market it. You can't like the vitamin people."
That's right. It's just like the vitamin people. So like, how do you regulate it? And so hopefully some regulations for CBD are going to come down. It'd be great if they treat it like it's just an herbal supplement. And so then that would give clarity. It's like, well, how do you regulate it? The same way you regulate other herbal supplements. Make sure you have the same type of disclosures. And of course, as always, make no health claims.
So I don't think people understand my excitement for Georgia as much as like, oh, what's that? We got Expo?
No, but yes. And I'm a rumor of coronavirus going away. Hopefully then we'll start to be able to go back out to do expos and stuff. So I got invited to the original CBD Expo tour, which is in April 9th to the 10th of 2021. And so I'll be moderating a panel on psychedelics and CBD, but people again. That'd be interesting.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm ready for people again.
I just don't think people can still be a thing just because of the just the way things are going. Like the fact that a mass debate, right? Like this guy in Louisiana who's 41 just died. I'm 46, dude. Come on. Like this.
It's like it's almost 4 months away. Will it be okay in 4 months?
It feels like the kid who does all the homework and then they fucking copy you. That's what this feels like. Like it's just states, everybody just get their shit together. We can all just get through this. Come on, man.
Well, come on. Make the vaccines faster. I think that's everybody is what they would say. But they'll come back. And so it's nice that I'm provisionally going to go somewhere in April. Granted, it's only Indianapolis and it's only about CBD, but it's a start. And then another final shout out, I saw Marijuana Moment, or Tom Angel posted something on Facebook about how you could help support the Marijuana Moment. So we always really go over a lot of their stories. You can go and support them by going to their Patreon and making a pledge. So just wanted to give them a shout.
Well, they're important, honestly, dude, because when I started writing and blogging about cannabis, there were other people, but they're all tinfoil hat people, right? Mm-hmm. Like, and then I happened to land this good group of guys, and we made an impact. But then, it's the Marijuana Moment. They actually have people in the DC following policy. This is the important stuff, people. I get we all want to hang out and just smoke and watch YouTubes and do whatever, but the not going to jail part is pretty fucking important.
The reporting on the news, monitoring 50 legislatures and plus the state of, the federals, plus anything that's going on internationally. And then they also stay on top of science and health and business.
Oh, yeah.
Business. But that type of stuff, we rely on it. We often cite to the Marijuana Moment when we're doing our news summaries. So when I saw that they were saying, hey, you can help us out by doing this, I'm like, all right, well, let's give them a shout out and tell people to go sponsor the Marijuana Moment.
I agree. Just like... today's theme is going to be the cannabis lifestyle. And I was thinking about like what is that, right? And mostly it's just me being worried about getting arrested. But
and you've lived in a legal state for as long as it's been possible.
Yeah. I mean, as far as the beginnings, but I still, when California legalized medical, I just joined the Navy, so I didn't even get a chance to experience the cool early days of the Emerald Cup and all that stuff. And then when I got out after 10 years, Washington had medical, turns out. I didn't know that when I was in the Navy. So I might have gotten an early script. But, Well,
I just wanted to say it's nice that the marijuana media is out there so that, we're fighting against a lot of algorithmic oppression. So that's something that our guests can totally talk about with the cannabis lifestyle.